Hello, welcome back everybody to a very horrible, wet and dreary Bordeaux. If you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe, ring the little bell, you'll get notifications of when I post again, and leave a comment, a thumbs up, and at least I know you're all there. Now my camera was just recording, and I thought I'd show you this guy here. Look, you see a solid white line? That means do not cross. And the reason that is there is to filter the traffic to the give way sign. But he decides just to cross two solid white lines and pull in front of the driver in front. I mean, this is the same as any city traffic, and that's why I thought I'd share it, because it's the same here as it is in Birmingham, as it is in London, is that everybody wants to get that one step in front. And I must admit, I honestly don't understand why they don't put a proper ring road around Bordeaux. And just because France is a huge place, so just, you've got room, build a ring road so nobody has to go anywhere near it. And especially at this time of year, I mean, it's supposed to be summer. I know it's raining, but it's supposed to be summer and everybody's going on holiday. Now, as you all know, I'm right-hand drive, and you probably can't see it at the moment, but there's a car on my right here, right on the front corner, trying to get in front of me. But it's a solid white line, so he's not supposed to go over it anyway. We're coming up to the giveaways now. But if I was left-hand drive, he's just here. And there he is, straight over the solid white line. But if I was left-hand drive, like I said, wouldn't have been able to see him. It was so close to me that at best all you can see is the roof. You can't see an indicator or anything like that. But at worst, you just can't see him. And especially with a roof like that and the road's that colour, you'd look at it at the side of your eye and just think it's the road. Wouldn't see it at all, but they just straight across in front of you, and you just. But the thing is, don't lose your cool. Just try and give a bit of distance. I mean, everybody's got to get on, but it's just the way that it is, and everybody wants to get in front of you. So as you can see, it is no different here to what it is in the UK, and no matter what you think, is traffic in whatever city that you go round. And the thing is here, I'm coming up to the bridge and I'm not allowed to move out this lane anyway, so you're better off just giving them a bit of room and let them bash into somebody else rather than you, because it's far too much hassle to sort the paperwork out. So this is the way. It's the opposite way around Bordeaux. There's a big accident the other way which has got even more traffic on it, so I decided to just come this way around. So it's a paraphreak, it's the ring road around Bordeaux, the peripheral of Bordeaux, and it's going to be busy, so no different to like I said, any other city. But I just thought I'd share that, because people always think that it's much easier to drive on the continent, but it's not. Honestly, it's not. It's just the same. You go here, you go to Berlin, you go to you go to Ghent, and it's just as bad as this, you know. It's just you're on the other side of the road. Just while you're watching the traffic go by, I'd just like to thank everybody that buys me a coffee and shows their support for the channel. It does mean a lot, and I do try and reply to everybody that does that. Thank you very much. So if you look at a map, you'll see that Bordeaux is a sort of very much of a road, a place where roads meet, let's put it that way, depending on where, if you're coming straight down from sort of Normandy, if you're coming down from Paris, if you're coming over from Toulouse, you know, or if you're coming up from Spain, it's very much a hub of roads where roads meet. That's why I don't understand why they don't make it so that you don't have to come anywhere near the city. I mean, I'm sure it's a nice place, but it's just so busy, and everything's got to transit it. Everything's got to go through it to get south or north, whichever way you're going. You've got to go so close to it, but it just gets so busy. It's like I said, it's like going around Birmingham. It's just horrendous. So we're getting north now, but I mean, the traffic in the sort of July and August, anybody that's coming from, like I said, from Belgium, from Luxembourg, from Normandy, from the UK, they all sort of come down this way because it's either Lancaras, which is on the right hand side to get into Spain, or Irun, which is on the left hand side. There is one small crossing in the middle, but it's not used very much. So these are the main arterial, what's the word? Not ulterior, arterial. I had to pause for a minute before. You know, it's the two main routes is down through Lancara or down through Irun. So arterial. That's the word. It took me a minute. So unfortunately for us, as we're working, we can't just sort of park up and get a cup of tea. But you have to try and time it properly, but sometimes that just doesn't happen. But I suggest if you're going on holiday, just, you know, try and go down through the nights, try and early morning, like very early morning, just try not to hit the rush hours. I mean, for us, we don't have any choice. We have times to keep and that sort of thing, but it's not the best places to try and manoeuvre around. So I'm going to make my way up now, up the National 10 and then up towards Caen. So I'll bring you back when I get back into the UK, as it's probably just as busy up there. Hopefully the weather's a bit better though. Welcome back and welcome to the UK. Welcome to the delights of the M25 and the Dartford crossing. It actually is not as busy today. Normally there is 4 lanes of solid traffic here, so at least it is doing a bit better than Bordeaux, and it's not raining, which is always a bonus. Now we're heading up towards Basildon, so the Dartford crossing is on the M25. Well, it's a little bit of A road in between, but that's a technicality. And if you're going clockwise, you come over what is the QE2 bridge. If you're going anti-clockwise, is what we're doing, north, we go through a tunnel which goes underneath the Thames. So the southbound or the clockwise goes over the Thames, and the northbound or the anti-clockwise goes underneath the Thames. Now the tunnels on the right hand side are a little bit taller, so know your height and make sure which tunnel you need to go through. These tunnels on the left hand side are a bit lower. When it was originally built, there was only the tunnels, so these tunnels went north, the other two tunnels came south, and then they built the QE2 bridge, so there's now 4 tunnels going north and the bridge coming south. But like I said, know your height and make sure you can go through it. Also, dangerous goods, if you've got dangerous goods on, you'll see an area just where I came in, and you pull into that area and you get escorted through the tunnel. Now there are a lot of rules and regulations. I don't have my ADR, but there are a lot of rules and regulations saying what can go through, the quantities when it comes to dangerous goods, so make sure you check up on that as well. Something that I always say to people, lights on in tunnels. Just put your lights on in tunnels. It makes it no excuse then why people can't see you, don't know where they are. Lights on in tunnels. In Europe, you'll see a sign before you go into the tunnel, lights on in tunnels. But for some reason in the UK, people don't do it. I don't get that at all. But always put your lights on when you go into a tunnel. It gives people a bit of an idea, distances, that sort of thing. And if it does, for some reason the lights go out in the tunnel, at least they know where you are. There's no overtaking either for HGVs, for lorries, trucks, whatever you want to call them. You have to stay on the inside lane. And again, solid white line, do not cross. That's what that means. So stay in your lane. So you can see where the other traffic from the other 2 tunnels comes up on your right, and then it goes into lanes. It goes into the lanes that you can cross then, and you can then figure out where you want to go from there. But when you're in the tunnels, just stay to your lane. It's actually quite a nice day today, isn't it? So we're going to go off here and go, I've not done this one before, we're going to go up to Basildon. It's a groupage house, so we'll find it when we get up there. But it's heading towards the sun, which is something that I definitely like. It's quite early. I'm not quite sure what time these people open, but I wanted to miss some of the traffic on the 25, so that crossing gets horrendously busy, queues for miles and miles, so I thought I'd give myself a bit of a chance. But I'd rather get here early and sit about for a bit rather than sitting in the traffic. I suppose there's not much difference when you're sitting, but sitting is sitting, but I'd still rather miss the traffic if I can. Actually looks like a sort of newish bit of industrial area. I don't know whether it is. It's always so busy down here, Essex and London and anywhere around here. It's just always so busy. I think it's one of these buildings on the right here. Don't think it's that one. Just going to pull up. There's a line of traffic behind me. Going to pull up a little bit and let the traffic go past. And might be the next one, maybe. Just let the traffic go past, and then you're not under pressure. You don't feel like people are pushing you along. Is it that entrance there? Let's have a look. Now the traffic's gone past. Let's have a look. No, not that one. Just a bit further down. Next one, maybe. Yeah, this one going in here. There's a gate man, so we'll see. If they send us away, I can just come out like with everybody else and park on the road. Morning. I wasn't sure what time you started. Oh, that'll be first or second. Sherilyn, SHE RRALIN. Thank you very much. What time do you start normally?
It's 24 hours here, but they don't start uploading and loading till like 5 in the morning.
Oh, okay, thanks. Well, if it's 24 hours, I wonder if I'd have got here last night, I'd have been able to park here. I'll have to ask. But it would have been handy, wouldn't it? So we've said to park here and the office on the left, so I'll go in and see what they say. And it's nearly, what time is it now? Oh, it's just gone 5. He said 5, so hopefully they'll start it straight away. Oh, well, that's all right. He just said put it on a bay. But what he did wanted was my GMR reference, because he wants to check that it's clear customs. He said he's had some drivers come in and it's actually not clear customs, and then they've unloaded it. So if you are to come to these places, maybe make sure you've got your GMR with you, which is your goods movement reference. You have that when you come in from Europe. So you have to have that to get on the ferry. So just make sure you've still got it with you when you get here. Amusingly, I don't know what happens if we go past over this red line, because it says do not cross the red line in big letters. Wonder what happens if you actually cross the red line. There's actually enough room for me to swing it round so I can reverse on the right side. But see, Friday afternoon in these places, horrendous. There is lorries everywhere, there is stuff everywhere. All these groupage houses are the same. They are horrendous. It doesn't matter what country you're in. they're awful places. So I must admit, it gets so busy in these places. Like when I'm going over a pavement, I put my big lorry going backwards beeper on and my hazard light, because hopefully then somebody says, oh, big lorry going backwards. And then they would actually say, oh, Perhaps I'd better not walk behind that lorry because it's a big lorry and it's going backwards. You know, for some reason they seem to miss the fact that it's a big lorry going backwards quite often. I keep reading that sign that says do not cross the red line. I mean, I haven't crossed it, but I just feel for devilment I should cross the red line just to see if like fireworks go off and stuff happens. I know, my imagination running wild again, but I just find it amusing. So I'm going to get this off and then I'm heading north, so I shall probably bring you back maybe tomorrow when I'm starting again. Hello and good morning. Yes, it really is 2:38. Well, it's 2:40 now and it's raining. Yay. We are in a place called Lim, which is on the M6. It's one of the biggest, I would say, one of the biggest lorry parks, truck parks in the UK. As you can see, it gets to the point where they're abandoned, not parked. But this is a huge place and there's still not enough room for everybody to park. I got the load off in Basildon and then I did a delivery in Manchester, and this is just outside Manchester. But I didn't film it. It was they were very similar to each other, and I was just having a bad day, so I thought, I'll just get on and get to bed early, which I did. But I didn't fill up with diesel. Even these places are not safe to fill your tanks up before you go to bed. You're better off parking with as little diesel as possible. It's a big thing in the UK, stealing the diesel. So obviously a lot of it is done by other drivers. A lot of it is done by travellers. It's just one of those things. A lot of them are just done by people that want to just see it as an easy target. So I try and park with as little as possible. It's a pain having to get up and then go and fill up, obviously, because I'm going the wrong way, look. But thank you very much. But you know, I'll go in and fill it up now. It's much easier. I'd rather do that, and at least they can take as little as possible. They take most fuel cards here. It's all automated. There is a little shop here on the forecourt. There is an area with food places, but it's basically fast food. There's a KFC, there's a couple of pasty places, pies, there's a Greg's, I can't remember what the other one's called, West Country pasties. They're just fast food basically. There's a McDonald's there. There's no proper what I would call a cafe anymore. They did have one, but they said doesn't make as much money. But it went from years and years ago, showing my age. It was a proper transport cafe, and it was across the road. And then that transport cafe bought the ground here. And I always remember my brother taking me there because it was all full of smoke and everything, and you couldn't see across the room. It was it was in them days. But then they bought the ground here and built it into a transport cafe with parking, and over the years it's been taken over by a conglomerate, and the parking's expanded, the prices have gone up obviously, but they've just changed it from a proper transport cafe to just an area that's got parking and fast food. Not my sort of food. No, so I just went back to the lorry and paid my parking, went back to the lorry and made myself something to eat. But like I said, it doesn't matter how many spaces are here, it's never going to be enough. So I'm going north, and we are going up just north of Newcastle upon Tyne, a place called Cranlington. I have been before. They are very nice people. but I knew they weren't going to be awake. Well, they were probably awake, but I knew they weren't going to tip us last night once we'd done the Basildon and the Manchester, so that's why I parked. But I'll get up there. I'll be there for when they come in this morning, so I'll bring you back when we get a bit further up. Morning has broken and the sunshine's coming out. So we are on the A1, as the road says, and this is Gateshead, just south of Newcastle upon Tyne. But I'm trying to get a video for you of the sculpture, which is the Angel of the North. It is such an impressive thing. I'll run it and see what we get. Should be able to. It's just here on the right hand side. There, you should be able to see it now. I'll try and point it out as we go along. There, I've changed the camera over. Can you see it? It's massive. It's so impressive. Now, I have written down some facts off the internet for you, for those that don't know anything about it. It is a sculpture by an artist called Anthony Gormley. It represents three things. It's to remind you that the coal miners worked in the dark on that site for 200 years. Secondly, it's looking to the future, from the transition from the industrial to the information age. And thirdly, it's to focus our hopes and fears. And just a few more facts. Oh, that's not a good place to break down, is it? Wondered why we were going slow. And a few more facts. It is 20 metres high. It weighs 200 tonnes. And the wingspan is 54 metres, which is about the size of a jumbo jet. There is enough steel in it to make 16 double-decker buses or 4 chieftain tanks. And it stands on concrete piles which are 20 metres deep, and the cost was £800,000, but it's well worth it. And it's one of those things that you see and you can't help but being impressed. I will put a link to the Gateshead information thing that I found all that information on. Very impressive, and some of the facts and figures about it are equally impressive. These 3 photos aren't mine, but I just thought I'd show you a better picture. These are off the gateshead.gov.uk site, so credit to those. But what an amazing structure. Please go and have a look into it. It's just really interesting. So we're going just here on the right hand side, just on my right hand corner here. Have been before, and I think I have videoed it, but for anybody that hasn't seen it, I thought I would show you again. I think they come in at 7, but they start at 8 or something like that. But it's only a small place, but nice enough people, and they let you use the toilets, and you can get a cup of tea and that sort of thing while they're unloading it. It's a bit of a fiddle to get in, because there's this, we want to go here on the right in those gates there. Obviously the gates aren't open yet because they're not in, but it's a bit of a fiddle because that fence is on the other side. Once you get your line, it's fine, but it's just you have to watch that as your unit comes round, you don't catch the fence. the lad's just coming in now, so he's opened the gate and he said just pull in. He said, and we'll come to you when we've had a cup of tea, which is fine. It's still only it's not 8 o'clock yet. I must admit, places like this, that a short wheelbase 2-axle unit just zips in here. You've got such manoeuvrability with a short wheelbase, makes the whole performance much easier. I was just thinking that it may be, if you're a left-hand driver, it might be easier to get in here because you'd be reversing from the junction. So it might be easier to get in here if you're in. Oh, you still have the fence in front of you, I guess, but it might give you a bit more room coming in the other way. Not sure. It was just a thought that came in my head. So if you haven't seen before the video that I did here before, you have to actually reverse into the warehouse, and they've got like a conveyor belt thing that they put in the back, similar to when I loaded this, if you saw the video before, but you have to actually reverse into the door rather than onto a bay or anything like that. I had a few comments on my last, I think it was the last one, the blindside reversing one, and it was like, oh, if it was me, I'd have got on there first time, oh, you shouldn't need to keep getting out, you take too long, all those sort of things. And you know what? Don't care. This is what I do. I'm not saying that it's right or wrong. This is what I do. And what I try and do is to show new drivers, inexperienced drivers, it's not about the speed, it's about getting on the bay, getting in the door without hitting anything and without running anybody over. That's it. So if it takes you a little while, it takes you a little while. I do it this speed, you can do it 100 miles an hour. If you can do it, fair enough. But this is what I do. I'm not saying it's right, I'm not saying it's wrong. You do you. But try and show people that it's not about the speed, it's not about anything else apart from getting in that door, getting on that bay without hitting anything and without running anybody over. That's the object of the exercise. So this is the piece of equipment that they unload it. It's like a telescopic folded up conveyor belt, if you will. And basically it just folds out and they put it into the back of the trailer. So all the boxes, it's not mechanical or anything, it's just got rollers on it. They put all the boxes on the one end and then it's at an angle and they just roll down, and the guys at the other end are taking them off and stacking them on pallets, and then they get put up into the racking and all that. They just sort them into the right stuff and it comes off. It's not mechanical, it's not anything, it's just these little rollers, which is the same way as they loaded it when I was in Spain. So yeah, simple but effective. So, and then everything gets checked and it all gets put away. So a very, very organised place. So that's me empty. I'm going to speak to the transport manager, see what she wants me to do next. And I'd like to thank you all for coming along. I hope you enjoyed this trip, and I will catch up with you next time. Please go and have a look at the Angel of the North website. If you get a chance to go and look at it, it is absolutely an amazing structure. Take care, everyone. Bye.